the science of agriculture, the land, the seeds, and the man.
Agricultural survival.
They have represented me with the worst image. But I know without a doubt that it's because of your lack of knowledge. Foresight, they don't have to see distance. That's why they're living in ignorance. I Selassie, I say, any country that use.
Hi, I'm your host tonight on What Matters at the Roundtable. Stanley West McPherson on Pegasus, yes, that's where we at. We're on Spectrum, Cable TV Network, Pegasus Channel 13. We're live in the studio. Yes, and you can call tonight. You might have something to say, or you might want to get in on a discussion tonight. Area code 607-272-0319. But if you miss tonight, hey, we got 6 days now. So you can tap into our, guess what? Our broadcast any day that you're available. Okay? And it's at the bottom of the screen. So, hey, pick your day because we're available. Also, this is our 300th show. Yes, on the air, 300. And you can see that we are geared up to help you, okay? And that's why we're on this program. This program is to help people to get out of poverty. This is a living wage. Hey, and that's what we deal with. I want to run out shout outs. Syria, 200. She's in California, okay? And then we got Pimplia. She's in Australia. Yes. Don't forget, I got Sunshine in Baltimore, Maryland. Also, Kendra in New York. Rosadar S. in New York, New York. Hey, these women are taking care of their families, and that's what they're supposed to do, take care of their families. Don't forget, you can get a shout out as well. So I got MS, VVS, and she goes all around the world. So, hey, more power to you. Do you, and don't let nobody tell you how to run your life, because you have a lot of people telling people how to run their lives. So life is too short. So you live it the way you're supposed to live it, okay? And guess what? We hear every time you see us, okay? We hear that people, okay, would get out of poverty, but not just that, but we know people need help, okay? And they're fighting against things that sometimes they can't do nothing about. Well, we're asking you to get in touch with us. Maybe we can help you with whatever situation that you're dealing with. Some people are dealing with job situations. Some people are dealing with, they got fired, okay? Whatever it is, hey, we've been there. So we just letting you know. And also here with me, co-host, Milton, Webb. And also, we have a special guest that's here. He's running for Sheriff Tompkins. His name is Josh Brokaw. Josh, how you doing?
Good, Stanley. How
Good,
are you doing?
good. We just want to let the people know that that we have given our signatures to Josh. Okay.
Yes, we did.
All right, so that he could get on the ballot. All right.
Full disclosure.
For a candidate running for Tompkins sheriff.
That's right. That's right. I think you guys were the last couple of days of getting my signatures when I saw you too.
Yeah.
And yeah, I had to get over The minimum was 1,299 signatures to get on the ballot as an independent candidate.
Right.
And that's not the Independence Party, but as a true independent candidate, no party, for the whole county.
Okay.
So you got to get a lot more as an independent than you do any of the parties to get on the ballot.
Why is that?
That's a good question, Milton. I can only really speculate as to it, the reason, but my guess would be it has something to do with the fact that the parties tend to kind of run the levers of power and make it a little tougher for
Well,
the
you know,
everyday
it's
people
always-
to get on.
It's always tough for the new kid on the block.
Right.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But it don't seem right.
Well, it's New York has a strange voting system where
New York
you can.
is strange.
A lot of states do, right?
Yeah.
So unfortunately, we're already past the voter registration deadline. So one thing we could do, if the assembly and or perhaps you need a constitutional change. I'm not actually sure, but we could definitely do it so that you could register to vote the day of the election. Massachusetts has that. Other states have that. So that's one thing that would make it easier for people to vote. Because at this point, I'm out knocking on doors. I was out in Hanshaw Village last night.
Right.
I was like talking to people and they're like, well, I don't usually vote, but this is different. So, but you're already past that registration deadline. That doesn't mean you can't register to vote. It just means after October 12th, it was, or I'm sorry, the 19th, you can't vote in this upcoming election. But there's also other odd things, like, for example, if I'd signed up for the Reform Party, as it's called, I could have gotten about 3 signatures to get on the ballot. Same amount of ballot access as running as an independent.
Right.
With 1,300 signatures minimum. So, and there's also some states have this, some places have this, but what we have is, I just learned recently, called a fusion system, where, for example, one of my opponents, Ken Lansing, who's the current sheriff, he was defeated in the Democratic primary, but he had also signed up for that Independence Party, which a lot of people in that party think they're signing up as an independent, but they're when you check the box, you want to say no party if you want to truly be independent. So he's on the ballot even though he was still beat in a primary.
Okay.
So you can run on multiple party lines, and when you go look at the ballot, which you can do with the Board of Elections site now, I'm in the bottom right corner of your ballot wherever you are in the county.
Right.
But you'll see Governor Cuomo's name multiple lines.
Yeah.
He's
And that's what he does. He's running on the family.
The Working
party
Families
and everything.
Party.
He ain't no working family party. What is he running on that party for? See what I'm saying? He's playing games. He's running a Democrat. And now you want to run it like you helping families. Man, you ain't running. You ain't helping no families.
He is helping families, man.
Family.
Wait a minute. Every time an election comes up, he helps all families. But after that, he don't know nobody.
His family he's helping. But check this out. Here's the catch. Like you said, he's running on every party. Like you said, the only one he ain't running on is the Republican Party. Okay?
Right.
But guess what? He would have ran on that too if they let him.
I think probably the Republican candidate was it Molinaro is on the conservative line. He might have that independence line as well. So it's it breaks down different ways depending on the race. So yeah, it was. But you know what? The thing about doing it that way, doing it kind of the hard way, was I've already, this summer I met a lot of people.
Right.
I was talking to a lot of people about, a lot of people say, well, I didn't know you could run for sheriff, or don't you have to have a law enforcement background, which I don't. I'll tell everyone that. I'm a journalist by trade.
Right.
And there's some crossover stuff, I think, the investigative kind of aspect of things.
Right.
Knowing people, knowing what they're up to, kind of just paying attention. I think that has a lot in common with good police work. And having the iron butt to sit through 4-hour meetings. I've done plenty of that.
Oh, yeah.
So,
as a journalist, you did all of that.
Yeah.
All you just knew, just put a badge on you. That's all. Because you did all that in the media. The news, they do all that investigation. They run out there to get the story. It's the same thing a cop does. He does the same thing.
Yeah.
Why you think the news media is always there? When something
happens? Well, ideally, if we had enough reporters
Exactly.
around, that would be happening. Unfortunately, around here, there's not really that number anymore.
Right.
Since, the Journal, USA Today, cut a lot of people, and it's tough out there to keep the amount of coverage you like. And I've been finding myself, just telling people, well, when you see those stories in the paper or on the some of the online sites like The Voice, a lot of those when they say, oh, so-and-so, got apprehended, those are pretty much directly coming from the police or from the sheriff's office.
Right.
So, like, there's really no additional information. A lot of times with the Journal nowadays, it's someone in Binghamton taking the release in their email and just kind of rewriting it a little bit, basically just editing it for grammar and then putting it back out there. So you don't get as much of that on-the-ground sort of reporting. There's a guy I worked with in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, who, old school, wore tie, suspenders, and jeans every day, and he was out there driving around in his car, chasing the scanner. But we don't really have that.
Okay. Well, you
days.
can tell the people you can tell them where they need to go to cast their ballot, because you're on the ballot in Tompkins County and all of the other polls that's around in the area. So tell them.
Well, yeah, if you're a voter in Tompkins County, and if you don't know where that is, that includes area, that's all the city of Ithaca, town of Ithaca. If you live in Trumansburg, Ulysses, Enfield, Dryden, Groton, Lansing, Newfield, Danby, Caroline, all that is Tompkins County. Or if your postal address is Brooktondale, some of you might be in Spencer or Wilseyville. There's a lot of different addresses out there. But if you go to your local, you can go to the Board of Elections site, and there's a map on there. And I'll keep posting that information. If you go find me on Facebook. My name's Josh Brokaw. I got a Facebook group, Josh Brokaw for Tompkins County Sheriff. I got a website called Truth Sayers, where I've been doing independent reporting for 2 years. That's at truthsayers.org, and there's a post at the top of the page there that's got all sorts of election information. But so votes on November 6th. It's a Tuesday. Polls are open, I want to say 6 or 7 a.m. And close at 9 p.m. So full day to vote. Gadabout's giving free rides to the polls. And unfortunately, I don't have that number on me right now, but if you call Gadabout, they best to schedule it ahead of time if you can help it.
Right.
And I think also the ride-sharing services, Uber and Lyft, are given, it's not free rides, I think it's like half-price rides on Election Day to the polls. So there's, and if you contact me, if you find me, my email's josh.brokaw, B-R-O-K-A-W, at truthsayers.org. My number's 607-339-6788. Contact me. I got a friend who'll be giving rides in Newfield all day. I can, maybe give a few rides to the polls. I won't even ask who you vote for.
Right.
So, and I'll be on that bottom right corner of the ballot. It's a grid-style ballot, and if you're looking at it, I'm kind of off in the corner with Andy Cuomo's name all up and down the left-hand side. So keep going over, and you'll find me. So.
Okay, what can the people expect from you if you take this office?
Right. Well, I think some of the immediate things I'd like to do, certainly, as a journalist, transparency, information flow are important to me. And I think it's kind of a waste of everyone's time to be sending out lots of press releases about who got picked up at Target for picking up diapers because they're feeling the stretch. They're they're feeling the money burn, and then they're like, oh, I'm going to do something desperate here. And the sheriff's office sends out releases like that. I don't see the point of it.
Right.
And that was a lot of my initial inspiration getting into this race. You see that sort of thing. But when you ask, like, why'd you send the SWAT team out?
Right.
Crickets. You had to believe us. It was the right time to do it. I don't know how many times we sent the SWAT team out, but as sheriff, which has joint jurisdiction over the SWAT team with the Ithaca Police Department, I think we should be, if we send out the heavy artillery, we should be telling people when we send it out why, after the fact. And I also don't think we need to be doing early morning no-knock drug warrants, because those are just more of a risk of something bad happening, something really tragic happening than it's worth, because, there's no, I'm really open to suggestions, how do we keep tackling the drug problem, but we know by now, or we should know, that just knocking out a dealer here, knocking out a dealer there, putting them in jail for a few years is not going to solve the whole problem. It's way bigger than just supply. It's way bigger than just reducing demand. There's a lot of sadness and malaise. And,
well, actually, you're not really reducing it, because if Charlie B goes to jail, all right, Jimmy C steps up.
Right.
So, you're not really stopping nothing. If you're not going straight to the source, then, you just locking up people that's trying to make money.
Right.
And a lot of these guys out there don't have jobs, and a lot of them out there are out there for that reason, and it's unfortunate that they get hung up in the game and don't know when to get out, so sometimes stuff happens. Like I say, if you arrest Johnny B, then the next thing you know, Frank C comes up, takes Johnny's place, so you're not really doing nothing but just holding it for maybe a week or two. And what do you do about that? Somebody taking somebody else's place.
Right.
So you're not really getting the person that's supplying. So, that's the whole thing there. If you're going to go to the honey's nest, you might as well go ahead and get the queen bee.
Right. Right.
And a lot of times, the guys that you pick up they say they're not telling, okay? But you get them in that situation, and most of them are telling. Mm-hmm. But the thing about it is they got to know, though. A lot of them don't know. They're just out there trying to be Mr. Big themselves. Mm-hmm. So, hey. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if we had a society, and I'm a bit of an idealist, like if we could actually give people, meaningful work to do. It's not just getting a job, right?
Right.
And it's not just getting a job that pays enough,
right,
even though that would all be helpful.
Yeah.
But meaningful work, satisfying
right,
work that, you feel like you're doing something worthwhile, that you're using your skills in a way that gives you that feeling at the end of the day, like I did something today, and, someone, gives that satisfaction. I think until we get to that point in society, and until we get to a point where we don't have these lucrative black markets, you're always going to have drug dealing, right?
Yeah.
I think the priority should be for law enforcement, not so much always going for the big bus, because even there's no queen bee in Tompkins County. I know that much. I've talked to enough people. Like it's coming from the city. It's coming from multiple cities. We're far down the pipeline. But if you got a guy or a gal who's ripping people off, creating situations that lead to violence, because that's when violence happens. You start ripping people off. If they're putting bad batches, fentanyl-laced stuff out there, those are folks, you got to get those off the street. If they're really going for that hard angle and they don't care about anyone else's life like that, that's a real danger to, people's health, safety. That's what you got to stop. But if we start trying to lock up, if we try to lock up everyone who's dealing a little bit of anything,
Somebody who bought a bag.
Right.
You know what I mean? They bought a bag and
they sell half the bag.
Or they bought a bag to smoke and you bust them, but you don't get the big timer that sold it or got more than them, and they just spent their money and bought it. That's nothing, And I was on the radio the other day. It was talk about a girl with 2 kids, and she had a whole bunch of heroin in the house. They kicked the door down and everything, but here's the kick. The kicker was, this what got me. The kids in there was dealing with the needles. Okay? Now I got mad, when I heard the story, because the first thing I said was, this woman subjected her children, okay, to this stuff. All right? Now they're taking the kids off the top. And she's going to get time for misusing them. Yeah. Okay? Because they had the needles. The kids had the needles. And I'm like, see, this is, you want to sell or you want to use, but you got your kids involved. Your kids is mixed up in this stuff now, which they did not, ask to do this. They did not come in this world to do this, And so they're going after the wrong people. My thing is, the people that gave her that stuff, I would be after them, Because this woman, kids, has got to suffer now. Now, who to say that kids didn't jerk themselves or stick themselves? You understand? They don't know what they're doing. But don't forget, like you said, the people, the big people that put this stuff over here, okay? And it ain't you and me, all right? It ain't you and me that did this, all right? It's got a capital G on the end of this, on the top of this. So they do this, all right? And they making sure that it get in the areas profiling, okay? Racial profiling areas, because they say, well, you a drug user, well, you this, and they they throw it out there to you. And you see so many people that they're busing in certain areas in Courtney, and you might hear a story in Syracuse, or you hear a story out there in Watkins Glen, or where's the other, where TC3 is at, in that area? Dryden. Always having stories out there. And this is where they focus at. But they're not focusing on, like you said, who brought it, where they bring it from. Right. Where's the big shipment at? You know, once in a while they'll catch a big shipment out of Buffalo that they led from here, right. Okay? Or somebody from, Binghamton they caught the person here and they gave them up over there. But like you said, the big shipment is not here. It's further away from here, but guess what? It's coming in here, and they're using the little people to do it. You know?
And there's the little people that's suffering because they're the ones that's going to jail.
Exactly.
You know, and I mean, I'm not saying, don't lock them up, but what I'm saying is, you got to look at the whole pie. You just can't look at a piece of it.
Yeah.
Because like Stanley said,
this is layer deep. Yeah.
If this dude goes over here and he buys a dime bag of weed, and then he mess around there, and, you got 9 cop cars out there busting this guy for this little bag of weed, make it seem like he done so much.
Exactly.
I mean, it don't make sense for that.
No, it doesn't.
That's overkill.
Yeah, we don't need to be busted for weed.
Exactly. That's an
honestly,
overkill.
I don't
exactly.
even think, especially in that under an ounce range,
right.
Like, it doesn't even need to be an additional offense.
But you know where the big stuff is at, but you won't go get it. See, they know where it's at, but they won't go because some of the people told them where it was at. See, right. Everybody that they got, somebody told them where the big stuff was, but they won't go because it's a payoff or, I'm watching out for John. Listen, they coming, get out.
Well, I can't speak as an outsider to law enforcement at the moment to how much of it is points of corruption.
Only we can. You can. We can.
I'll let you guys can
let us do that.
Yeah,
let us
for
do
sure.
That.
But and how much of it is okay? Well, we have to build a case, and how much time do we have to build a case?
Right.
There was always that level of what priority setting as well. I mean, I think the other thing with locally, what you have to look at with the drugs is how do you keep people off the real bad stuff?
Yeah.
And how do you give them things to do? How do you give them new people to hang out with? I mean, this is a pretty tight-knit, area. I mean, in some ways, compared to back in the day, 100,000 people in the county. That's a lot of people.
That's true.
But, it's still, when you start going to certain scenes, you're going to see some similar faces.
First of all,
even if you get to rehab,
a lot of stuff.
Back,
a lot of stuff can get people. What can get people off of drugs is you give them something to do. You give them some money, okay? First of all, give them a place to live. Give them some rehab. Then give them some money, and then give them a job. Give them something to do. Then that'll take a drug away from them because they got something else to do and they got something worthwhile. Now, if they got children, then they got to be able to take care of their children.
Right.
Okay? Now, if they take care of their children, their kids go to school, get good grades, boom, guess what? The parents is going to be a good parent, okay? Because all these parents ain't bad because they use drugs. No. It's some of them are willing and trying to get off this stuff, but they ain't got nothing to get off. Nobody ain't helping them to get off, and plus, they ain't got no living wage to get off, okay? Because they about to be kicked out, they can't pay their rent, they can't give their kids them clothes and stuff that they need to go to school. So what they do, they go to the nearest thing that drugs, and that kills them, and that's called suicide. So that's a suicide to them. It's like jumping off the roof, okay? When they stick one in their arm, it's a bad one because somebody gave them something, they gave them that stuff that they that they rig the drugs, and that's what they do. So that's called a suicide. But that's what a whole bunch of people doing right now when they use those drugs. That's suicide. So they saying, I'm giving up.
Right.
And that's what they're doing. Guess what? Our time is out of here. So, but we wish we could have you again. You could come again. You still got some more time before the election. You know, you can let the people see your face. You let the people see you.
I'll be around.
Josh,
give me a holler if you got a group of people you want me to meet. I'm easy to find at truththeirs.org. There's a contact box. Again, my number 339-6788. Josh.brokaw@truththeirs.org, and you can reach out, and I'm happy to come talk with you. You know, just listen to ideas. I got a platform up that's just kind of a bunch of ideas talking about de-escalation, so you know, officers know how to do things besides go to a weapon and, you know, a crisis situation. A lot of different ideas out there, but I, you know, want more, and we don't have to be scared to talk about them.
Well,
so,
Josh, are you still volunteering over at Loaves and Fishes?
I eat there a lot. I ate there tonight.
Well, so, you can be there because right now,
find me there.
Our time is out, so we can catch you. Come back next week, whenever before election. But right now, we out of here, and we see you next week. Good night.
Put up the gun and make we farm up the ground. Gonna see from what here, too much blood a run. Put down the gun and make we farm up the ground. Them say global recession so food Africa in a ground. Put down the gun and make we farm up the ground. Me have to return to St. Anne's and left Kingston. When you plant a new crop, the world start clap. All human beings start embrace that. There is no solution in this pollution. Them only mission is to create era done. Then after election, them cut them one. Get a youth, take this message from this Rasta man. The gun and make we farm up the ground. Gonna see from what here, too much blood a run. Put down the gun and make we farm up the ground. Them say global recession so food Africa in a ground. Put down the gun and make we farm up the ground. Me have to return to St. Anne's and left Kingston. When you plant a new crop, the world start clap. All human beings start embrace that. There is no solution in this pollution. Them only mission is to create era done. Then after election, them cut them one. Get a youth, take this message from this Rasta man. I and I.
What matters at the Roundtable? Stanley McPherson, not a minimum wage, not any other kind of wage, but a living wage. Our broadcast schedules are Sunday at 7:30 a.m., Tuesday 7:30 p.m., Wednesday 1:30 p.m., Thursday 7:30 a.m., Friday 7:30 p.m., and Saturday 1:30 p.m.